All right, so review. This one's called Submarine Alert 1943. Hate this flick, giving it 1 out of 5 stars. This is going to be another war propaganda movie, only it doesn't have Batman and Robin. Submarine Alert is a 1943 U.S. film directed by Frank McDonald, produced by Pine Thomas Productions, and released by Paramount Pictures. The film stars Richard Allen, Wendy Berry, Nils Asher, Roger Pryor, Mark Lawrence, and Ralph Sanford. Movie poster looks dumb. Production Pine Thomas Productions, distributed by Paramount Pictures. Release date June 28, 1943. Running time 66 minutes. Thank God. Country United States and language English. During World War II, with shipping being sunk by submarines and with a U.S. scientist working on radio technology killed by Nazi spies, FBI agent G.B. Fleming, Roger Pryor, comes up with a plan to catch the Nazis. He radios will seek any employment, including working with the enemy. Tailing the jobless radio man will help the FBI find the Nazis. Engineer Louis J. Lou Deerhold, Richard Arlen, thinks he lost his job because he is a Canadian citizen. Lou looks after his niece, Tina Patsy Nash, a war orphan, requiring a brain operation, needing money. He applies for work at a radio repair shop where he meets Ann Patterson, Wendy Barry, the victim of purse snatching. Lou recovers her purse, and Lou asks Ann out on a date. After coming back to his apartment, his new boss is there with Dr. Arthur Hoenikker, Nils Asher, and his assistant Vella, Marc Lawrence. Lou was offered a job by Hoenikker, a Nazi spy commander who needs someone to repair a top secret stolen radio transmitter, and is an FBI agent who's been assigned to follow Lou. She finds blueprints to the transmitter in Lou's possession. When FBI agent Freddie Grayson, Ralph Sanford, searches Lou's apartment, he is shot, but Grayson is able to tell Lou that the doctor has a stolen transmitter, and the doctor shot him. Lou confronts Hoenikker, who is meeting with Japanese commander Toyo, played by Albert Bieberman, in Japanese makeup, I guess. The pair tried to convince Lou to join the Nazi party. He pretends to go along. When they begin to torture the owner of the Barnbridge Shipping Company, John Jan, their new recruit, in order to kill Bambridge, who's actually Captain Hargis, a U.S. agent. Instead, Lou escapes, taking with the codes for the transmitter. At the doctor's hot spring resort, Lou and Ann join forces, but captured and locked in a steam room by Hoenikker. Before they are killed by the steam, Lou devises a transmitter, and Lou sends an SOS that is picked up by a young boy whose father calls the FBI. FBI agents run to save Lou and Ann, and they arrest Hoenikker and his men. Agent Fleming also contacts a bomber squadron that destroys the Japanese submarine laying in wait off the California coast. With his niece Tina recovered from her operation. Oh, I don't want to spoil the ending. It's not much of an ending anyway. Movie, maybe they had a little more actions. It would have been fun, but war propaganda movies, they're a dime a dozen around 1943. Nothing spectacular about this. As a matter of fact, it stunk. The use of stock footage resulted in the 3rd Bomber Squadron being composed of Curtiss P-40 Warhawk fighters. Principal photography for Submarine Attack took place from June 1st to mid-June 1942 at the Fine Arts Studios, Hollyweird, California. Submarine Alert was another in the series of B films churned out by the Pine Thomas team. The film villain again was Swedish-born Nils Ash, who was featured in 3 war adventures by William H. Pine and William C. Thomas. Like many of the spy and secret agent films of the era, it was a cautionary tale about the dangers of Nazi and Axis infiltration. Yeah, no kidding. It's got the same plot as the Batman serial. As a mildly patriotic goal, the film also made a statement about U.S. values. Yeah, what values? Maybe turning Japan into a bastion of prostitution, enslaving half of Europe under communism. For reviewer Hal Erickson, the plot of the Pine Thomas adventure quickie, Submarine Alert is more than a little beholden to Hitchcock's The 39 Steps. The film was not released for a year after it was made. Variety thought this made the film out of date. All right, Submarine Alert 1943, 1 hour, 6 minutes. It's got the same sorry movie there. It gets an okay 5.4 out of 10. Only 405 ratings. German spies use a stolen shortwave transmitter prototype to broadcast top secret shipping info to an offshore Japanese sub. To nab the spy ring, the U.S. government has the West Coast top radio engineers fired and shadowed. Here's a more flattering review from Snow Leopard. No rating on it, though. The Snow Leopard review on IMDb is dated January 11th, 2006, and it's titled, Okay, Once It Gets Along. Once this wartime B feature gets along, it's not bad, and it builds up enough suspense and intrigue to help you look past the low production values. Richard Arlen and Wendy Barry also contribute with solid performances in the 2 leading roles for most of the era and genre. For movies of the era and genre, it is a little less strident than most in its attacks on Axis nationalities, giving somewhat more emphasis to the personal plight of the main character, Arlen. Arlen plays a radio engineer who, not being a U.S. citizen, finds himself out of work when the FBI orders his employer to let him go, while Axis spies try to dupe him into helping them with the special transmitter that they're using to target Allied tankers. The G-men are still keeping their use for anything of importance, so that it takes a while to start making any real progress, but after that, it works all right as Arlen's character finds himself in one fix or another. By portraying the federal agents as rather heartless and unimaginative, the movie's tone becomes somewhat darker than what you might normally expect from a picture whose general aim is to promote the Allied cause. Though there's nothing new or particularly impressive about Submarine Alert, There's probably enough to make it worth seeing for those who have an interest in the era and genre. I do not have an interest in this genre. Sorry. War propaganda movies are not my bag. All right, more like this: The Falcon and the Coeds, From Hell to Texas, Inner Sanctum, and Submarine Base. The budget for Submarine Alert did not allow for more than a few studio back screenshots and the use of stock footage and miniatures. During the bombing of the submarine, at least three different aircraft types are inexplicably used during the attack. When the bombers are scrambled, we see a squadron of single seat P 40s taking off. When the submarine is attacked, there are at least two crew in the aircraft. Release date June 28, 1943 in the US. Country of origin US. Languages Japanese, German, and English, also known as Interceptor Command. Filming locations Los Angeles, California, USA. Production company Pine Thomas Productions. Runtime 1 hour 6 minutes, 66 minutes. This is in glorious black and white, and the aspect ratio is 1.37 to 1. This is just about a guy who gets caught up in government shenanigans during World War II. And he tries to stop the Nazis while he's being pursued by the FBI. First on my list is The Immortal Story, 1968. Number 2 is Missionary Spotlight, Arena Story, 2019. And then number 3 is the Deliverance ripoff with Hal Holbrook. It's called Rituals, 1977. So those are the next 3 on my list. I'm going to try to get through 4. Seeing as how the first 2 are pretty short. And I'm going to be at the car wash early in the morning. So I should be able to watch the first one at least, I should be able to finish it around 10, and then I can start the second one.